Imagine that 10,000 years from now, someone discovers our planet. They do not find people. They do not find cities as we know them today. They find only remains, collapsed structures, strange monuments with no explanation, and they ask a question. Was this civilization advanced or merely primitive? Now let's ask another question. When we look at ancient civilizations today, are we really sure we can judge them any better? Because maybe we are doing nothing more than looking at the remains. Imagine that tomorrow humanity disappears, not because of war, not because of disease, not because of a cosmic catastrophe. One day we are simply gone. The planet does not stop. The sun still rises. The wind moves through the trees. Waves keep crashing against the shores. There is just no one left to watch it. Cities remain standing. Streets are empty. Airplanes stay on runways. Ships remain in harbors. Cars sit in parking lots. Computers stay on. Screens glow into the void. The world looks almost the same as yesterday, just without people. And now comes a simple question. How long would it take for the world to forget that we were ever here? In the first hours, almost nothing would happen. Power plants would keep producing electricity. Lights would stay on. Servers would keep humming. Satellites would still show positions no one needs anymore. The world would run on inertia, like a machine that was set in motion and keeps spinning for a while. But within days, small failures would begin. One station shuts down, another overloads. No one resets anything. No one fixes anything. Power grids, which require constant human supervision, begin to collapse, first in pieces, then entire regions. Finally, the lights go out almost everywhere. The planet falls into darkness. You might ask the question everyone asks. What about nuclear power plants? Wouldn't they cause a global catastrophe? The truth is less cinematic, but more interesting. Most nuclear plants are designed to shut themselves down in emergencies. The chain reaction would stop within minutes. No explosion, no instant apocalypse. The problem comes later. Even after shutdown, the fuel remains extremely hot and must be cooled. Without maintenance, pumps would eventually fail. Water would stop circulating. Some reactors would be damaged. Radiation would leak into the surroundings, but it would not be the end of the world. It would create dozens or hundreds of local dead zones. And paradoxically, those would be the first places nature would return to. Because without humans, nature slowly reclaims even the most dangerous places. Even the most powerful human technologies are surprisingly fragile without humans. Within the first years, nature would begin to behave exactly as it did for millions of years before us. It would take back what belonged to it. Grass would break through asphalt. Seeds would grow in cracks in sidewalks. Tree roots would slowly tear into concrete. Rain would flood basements, garages, and subway tunnels. Without pumps, entire underground worlds would fill with water. Bridges would begin to collapse. Not immediately, slowly. Corrosion weakens steel. Concrete cracks. One bridge falls, then another. No one notices. Without cooling, servers overheat. Without power, data flows stop. The internet does not collapse dramatically. It simply disappears. No library of human knowledge remains, only empty rooms and dead machines. After 100 years, the world is unrecognizable. Most steel has rusted. Glass facades have shattered. Roofs have collapsed. Skyscrapers have become dangerous ruins. Airplanes are strange skeletons in grass. Cars have turned into piles of oxide and plastic dust. Ships lie on the ocean floor like metallic fossils. Forests grow through cities. Animals return to places we once pushed them out of. Wolves walk through former suburbs. Birds nest in abandoned offices. The world is not dead. It is full of life, just without us. After 1,000 years, it is almost impossible to tell that a global civilization ever existed. Most concrete structures have collapsed. Steel has almost completely vanished. Plastics have broken down into microscopic particles in soil and sediments. Cities have turned into thin layers in the ground, something future archaeologists might not even recognize. Only a few exceptions remain: underground spaces, some dams, Some massive structures that outlast everything else, but without context, without stories, without explanations. Now we reach the core question. 10,000 years after humanity disappears, how much would remain? Honestly, surprisingly little. Most of our technology is based on materials that time destroys mercilessly. Electronics do not last. Digital data does not last. The memory of our civilization is extremely fragile. After 10,000 years, only hints would remain. Strange layers in rock, traces of radiation, microplastics in soil, altered river flows, reshaped landscapes. But something would remain. Not cities, not daily life, not the technologies we consider proof of progress. Only exceptions. Massive concrete structures, dams that changed rivers, canals that reshaped entire regions, and places where we carved directly into rock. Monuments cut into mountains, tunnels deep underground, spaces protected from rain, frost, and sun. 10,000 years from now, it would not be clear who we were, how we lived, what we valued, or how advanced we really were. Only fragments would remain, monuments, and many questions. Now imagine another civilization discovering Earth in that state. They would see ruins, overgrown structures, strange stone objects with no obvious purpose. They might think we worshiped concrete, that we were obsessed with giant structures, that we left behind a strange toxic layer in the soil. But would they understand that we went to space? That we could communicate across the planet in seconds? That we had technologies capable of changing the climate of an entire world? Maybe not, because progress is not always visible, and it is almost never permanent. And now comes the uncomfortable thought. If someone judged our civilization only by what would remain, would they call us advanced, or just another mysterious culture that appeared and vanished? How much of our real world would be readable? 10%? 5%? Even less? And now let's ask the question that turns everything upside down. When we look at ancient civilizations today, what do we actually see? A few ruins, a few temples, a few artifacts. And based on that, we say they were primitive, technologically behind. But what if we are only seeing what survived time? What if we are judging entire civilizations by fragments, just as someone might one day judge us? Maybe ancient civilizations are not mysterious because they were simple. Maybe they are mysterious because time is ruthless to technology. And maybe we are making the same mistake. Because if someone judged our civilization only by what would remain, would they call us advanced, or would they simply walk away? And that is why in the next video, we will ask another question. What do we actually see from ancient civilizations today? And what will we never see again? Because maybe they were not less advanced. Maybe we only see what survived.